Hi everybody, it's Beth Demon and my son Arthur again, here for the weekly San Diego Brewers Guild Instagram Live Happy Hour at Home. We do this every Wednesday from 3 to around 4 p.m. PST, Pacific Standard Time, Pacific Daylight Time, whatever it is, Pacific Time. We're in California, obviously. So if this is your first time tuning in with us, thank you for finding us. If you've joined us before, thank you so much for joining us again. Every week, we basically talk to a couple of different musicians like Arthur, who is doing his best to create a great soundtrack for us. Thank you so much. We talked to a couple different breweries here in San Diego and other beer-related businesses to see how they're handling COVID-19, how we can support them as a community, their efforts to stay open, whatever else comes up. So we've got, as per usual, we've got an amazing list of guests today. We have Harland, Kilowatt, White Labs, and we're going to wrap things up with Chula Vista's 3rd Avenue Ale House. So we're going to see how everybody is doing. Thank you again for bearing with me while we have a musician joining us. As you know, like so many other working parents during the pandemic, childcare is a little bit non-existent right now. So my husband should be home in just a couple of minutes, and we will have a little bit of a quieter live stream. But until then, we will just have to enjoy the beautiful ukulele sounds of a 3-year-old, which is great. Can you say hi to everybody on behalf of the Brewers Guild? Mm-hmm. Was that too much? That was too much to say. So, before, without further ado, let me actually go ahead and crack open what I'm going to be drinking during this week's live stream. This is Second Chance's Better Days. It's a West Coast IPA. And I will say I went on a little bit of a journey up to North County last week to pick up a bunch of cans and growlers and crowlers and things from our buddies up in North County. So I stopped at Helia, Second Chance, where else? Epic. There's somebody I'm forgetting because I'm a little bit distracted right now. Oh, buddy, you're doing such a good job. Thank you. But anyway, this is like a totally killer IPA. It's like super classic West Coast. It's 6.5%. Oh, and it's a collaboration with Thorn, which is very cool. Thank you, buddy. I think Second Chance is also doing a... Thank you. They're doing a photo contest for Better Days. So check them out on social. It's Second Chance Beer, and see what they are doing for a photo contest. Anyway, this is a really great beer. Let's have a sip. I might need to move rooms until my husband is able to join me, because you are a joy to have on the live stream, and we love your music. Can you go get your water?
It's downstairs.
There's one in your room. Can you go grab it for me? Mm-hmm. Okay. Haha. So just a couple bits of news before we bring on our first guest, Harland. It is American Craft Beer Week, everybody. Happy American Craft Beer Week. It's now through the 17th of May. I know that the Brewers Guild is doing... Thank you, buddy. The Brewers Guild just released a really great video. It's like 1.5 minutes or less than 2 minutes to kind of put together some of the faces and people of San Diego, the San Diego beer community. So please do check that out on Instagram and Facebook and all the social media channels for the Brewers Guild when you have a chance. And if you are reposting it or retweeting it or what have you, please use the hashtag IamSDBeer, and so we can kind of keep track of everybody who's participating in San Diego's version of American Craft Beer Week. We are also doing a virtual cheers this Friday at 4:45 on Google Meet. There is information about what is going to be happening on that, as well as an opportunity to RSVP for that event on sdbeer.com, which is the Brewers Guild website. So please do check that out for the virtual cheers on behalf of American Craft Beer Week this Friday at 4:45. Otherwise, the other things that are happening for American Craft Beer Week on behalf of the Brewers Association, please use the hashtag #GiveCraftBeer if you are purchasing any beer from local breweries. Purchasing beer to go, getting it delivered, merchandise, whatever, so that they can kind of be seeing and keeping track of who is participating in American Craft Beer Week, which obviously we always hope is every single week. So, resources for the community. I try to go through these every single week, so again, if you've heard them before, please bear with me for just a minute. 3B Zine, the local San Diego podcast, Beer Night in San Diego, they are keeping, as always, an updated list of brewery statuses, who's open, who's doing to go, who's doing delivery, everything like that. So before you run out and try to support your favorite local craft beer spot, please check out their status on 3bzine.com to see where they're at. And it's a great podcast if you're looking for something to listen to during the pandemic, or I guess not really on your commute to work, but in between. It's a great podcast. They have a new episode out today, I think. So be sure to check out 3bzine.com. Thank you, buddy. You want to have some? Nope. Just mommy's bubble water. If you are going to sdbeer.com, the Brewers Guild website, to check out information about American Craft Beer Week and the virtual cheers that's happening this Friday, please do check out some of the other resources that the Guild has on hand for the San Diego beer community. There is merch for sale. I'm actually rocking my San Diego Brewers Guild. Well, it's hard to see because my son is sitting on me, but this is pretty great. Some great merch to help raise money for the San Diego beer community on behalf of the Brewers Guild. There's a newsletter to keep up with everything that's going on, any legislative changes, or any community information or news, or anything that's happening in the San Diego beer scene right now during COVID-19. The Brewers Guild is going to be aggregating all of that information, so please do check out sdbeer.com. Mental health resources are also available and recommended on there, so please take advantage of everything that the Brewers Guild has put together for the beer community to make the most of this bad situation right now. So before I bring on our first guest, which is going to be the Nick over at Harland, during the live stream, you can ask questions, leave comments, anything like that. And I just realized I forgot to pin the SDBG at home happy hour. So please bear with me for just, let's see, SDBG. Whoops, that's not how you spell SDBG at home happy hour, so that anybody who joins us knows what they're watching. And thank you so much for your patience, everybody. Pin comment. Great. Now we are in business. Okay, so yeah, please do ask any questions or chime in, or just say hi to Arthur while we're watching this. I'm going to see if Harland is ready to jump on real quick, and we'll get things started. Hello, Harland. I see you. Hello.
Hi.
Sorry, thank you for bearing with me while I work from home,
Absolutely. Glad to do it.
All right. Well, great to see you. Can we get a little intro, who you are, where you are?
Yeah. My name's Nick Marone. I'm the Director of Brewery Operations here at Harland. I'm at the brewery today. We're still cranking along. Brewing tomorrow and Friday, canning today, so still working. I worked at St. Archer for 5 years before this, and then Pizza Port for 5 years before that. So I been in the industry for a little while.
You forgot to bring in forever.
You forgot nothing. You forgot. Don't listen to him.
Okay.
That's awesome. Which pizza port were you at?
San Clemente.
Okay, sweet.
Yeah.
Sweet. So tell me a little bit about Harlan. I mean, I know that you guys, you launched not super recently, but like in the last year or two, but there was the history with San Diego beer. So obviously you've been in the community for a while. Give me a little bit of background on the Harlan crew and kind of where you're at today.
Yeah. So we opened. The brand started right about January of 2019. We were contract brewing during our build out. So I was contract brewing down at Mission in East Village. And we opened our doors in Scripps Ranch in June of 2019. So we're coming up on a year of brewing at Scripps Ranch. The tasting room didn't open until till November of 2019. So we've only been open with that tasting room for a little bit. We also have a tasting room in Del Mar at the One Paseo development, Del Mar Heights, really right off the east side of the 5. But yeah, so it's me and 2 other former St. Archer brewers. Also, Ryan Alvarez, he's our head brewer. He came from Pure Project and then St. Archer before that, Green Flash before that.
Okay.
Kenji Hayashi is another one of our brewers, came from St. Archer. And the founders are guys who have been in the industry for a while. They've sales around town, sales at St. Archer, sales at a lot of different places and a lot of different breweries. So they have a wealth of industry experience, which is also helping with how we run our business. We're also in the same LLC umbrella. We have a beer distributor. So we have brands in town, Society, June Shine, 32 North, Bivouac Cider. So we have kind of, a little bit of both going on in this location where we have the brewery on one side of the building and the distributor on the other.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that even from when you guys first started, I always thought that was a really smart move to kind of diversify your output into distributing, even on like a smaller footprint as opposed to like Stone or somebody like that, just for really exactly scenarios like we're going through right now where, taproom sales are virtually eliminated or, diminished to a huge degree. So having a different revenue stream, I think, is a really great way to kind of protect okay, I won't do it like that. To protect like the longevity of your brand. So could you talk a little bit about the thought process between doing a brew house and distribution? Was it kind of to diversify your output, or really just another way to be involved? Or
I mean, a little bit of both, honestly. We saw an opportunity to be kind of a craft centric, supplier focused distributor. So we're able to give service to our suppliers that we feel like is unparalleled, and we're able to kind of focus on them in a much smaller scale. You mentioned Stone, and they've done a lot of great things for craft distribution, but they're so big now that it's kind of a little bit different. And so what we're doing is trying to be as service oriented to our suppliers as we can. So I mean, yeah, it's kind of an opportunity to help grow the Harlan brand, as well as service some other brands in town, and we have some brands from out of town as well. So it's nice to be able to bring some cool beer into San Diego.
Awesome. Well, so what would you say that are the types of beers that you guys are really known for over at Harlan?
That's a hard one, honestly. We're doing a lot of everything. So we have a core package that has some 12-ounce cans. We do like a West Coast IPA, a hazy IPA, and a Mexican lager. But we've been really doing a lot of different specialty releases. So I mean, we've done in the short time that we've been brewing here, like a year, we've done almost 30 different can releases. We have 2 brew houses. We have a 30-barrel brew house that kind of services our production side, and then a 5-barrel brew house, so we can do some pretty strange things. I think that right now we're kind of being known for these kind of heavily adjuncted, kind of unusual beers. So we just did a beer that was inspired by a Hawaiian dessert, haupia. So it's a coconut, toasted macadamia nut, shortbread cookie milkshake IPA. We do some sour IPAs. We have a fluff series that's a fruited sour beer with marshmallow. So we're doing some kind of stuff like that. But I mean, we also just released a Japanese lager that we were pretty proud of, and I think did pretty well. And it's just a nice, clean, crisp rice lager. We're doing some West Coast IPAs too, some clear IPAs that are highly aromatic, but still kind of a modern, contemporary take on the West Coast style. So they're firmly bitter, but not aggressively bitter.
Okay. So, I mean, it sounds like, you were saying it was still kind of production as usual. You guys are brewing today, tomorrow, etc. How have you had to change your output or your operations because of what's been going on?
Pretty drastically. Honestly, we've changed from, we were a 70% draft business before
Mm.
this shutdown to
Mm.
now, I mean, there is no draft business.
Yeah,
Bars are starting to order a little bit, but I mean, it's not nearly what it was.
right.
So we kind of had to rip through like 8 months worth of ideas in 6 weeks to try to crank out as many new beers and cans as we can. So,
Mm.
I mean, it's really been shifting all of our production to cans, and our artist and graphic team has been just cranking out new labels and cranking out
Mm.
new products for us to put cans in the market. And it's been tough, but it's kind of a cool opportunity for us in the sense that we're being able to grow the off-premise business that we didn't really have
Mm.
as much of a stronghold in before. So it's been I think because we're so new, we're able to be a little more nimble, which has been awesome. We didn't have a ton of you know beers in tank that we couldn't put a new label on and put into the market. So it's
Yeah.
just been a lot of every day is a challenge, and every day we just try to get as creative as possible.
Well, not having to get TTB approval on new labels has got to be a little one silver lining, one bright spot in this, like one tiny little roadblock that you don't have to go over. But yeah, I mean,
Absolutely.
it's interesting that you talk about the branding because you're saying like the tap room didn't even open until late 2019. I was just like, I totally remember you guys like advertising in West Coaster and places like that way before you even
Yeah.
launched. So I guess you guys have done like a really good job of getting your name out there, kind of fat like early on. Like people knew who you were and knew you were coming for a long time.
Yeah, I mean, and that's all attributed to the Scout team. I mean,
Mm.
Scout's our distributor. We have some pretty rad industry veterans that are on the sales team, and their relationships have been huge in just getting the Harlan name out there and getting our beer on tap as many places as we could. And
Mm-hmm.
so, early on when we were brewing, when still building the tasting room, it was easy to just crank as much beer into the market as we can because we had the distributor as an outlet to help grow brand
Right.
awareness and
Yeah.
grow our reach.
Okay. So how can the San Diego beer community support you guys right now?
I mean, we're doing everything out of the tasting room. So for the most part, that the majority of our volume is coming from the tasting room in Scripps Ranch. Our other tasting room is closed for the time being, but we are also doing online orders, and shipping is available. So
Okay.
I mean, any way that you can find cans. We have we don't have any big grocery authorizations, but we have Lazy Acres, Whole Foods, those kinds of smaller grocery type of places that we have our
Mm-hmm.
cans available, as well as all the rad bottle shops in town, the Bottle Crafts and the Vine and Vines and South Bay Liquors, places like that. You can find most of our special offerings. But honestly, the best for us is when people come to the tasting room and kind of buy stuff directly from us.
Yeah, I'm sure. So, do you guys have special hours for getting beer to go or anything like that?
Yeah, we're 1 to 7 Sunday through Thursday, and then 12 to 7 Friday and Saturday.
Okay, so every day. That's
Yeah,
helpful. Yeah. Okay, awesome. Well, I really appreciate you checking in with us and best of luck. Cheers.
absolutely. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
All right, have a good one. All right. Thanks to Harland especially, but also all of our viewers for bearing with me while I, live streamed while parenting. But I am child free. You can get a good look at my beautiful San Diego Brewers Guild merch again. If you are so inclined, please go to sdbeer.com to order yours. There are also tank tops available. But yeah, it was great to check in with the Harlan guys. That's a brand that I've been very aware of, but not too knowledgeable about until now. So I will definitely be checking them out and adding them to my roster of places that I need to check out while all of this is going on. But just to reiterate, I'm drinking the Second Chance Better Days West Coast IPA, and it is fire. So I think this is my last one, which is really depressing, but I've got that weirdo apple IPA up next, so we'll be cracking one of those open pretty soon. So, all right, moving right along, we've got Kilowatt up next. So let me see if they are available. So it says, Kilowatt, that you are unable to join, which I think means you are probably watching on your computer and not your phone. So if you could just log on to your phone and watch this, then I will be able to add you. But oh, there, now I can add you. Whatever you did very quickly worked wonderfully. So thank you. Hooray! Kilowatt. Hello.
Hello.
How's
How's
it
it going, everybody? Oh, I got a black light here behind me.
I had on my list of questions, ask about the psychedelic tap rooms, but I guess we can just. Which one are you at right now?
I am. Well, first, I want to thank you for you and the guild for doing this IG live series. It's great. I'm really stoked on it. So thank you for that. Yeah, well, I'm in the Forbidden Cove actually, which is our hidden tiki bar inside of our brewery in Kearney Mesa. So this is just a little snippet here of our.
You're jumping ahead
spot.
with my questions. You were prepared. You knew what I was going to want to talk about.
Yeah, that's one thing, honestly, that's been tough for us because, as you know, I mean, we've got 4 locations. We got the Forbidden Cove here. We've got the Kearney Mesa Brewing location and tasting room. We have our Ocean Beach location with our Blacklight Lounge, Infinity Mirror Room, and then our Oceanside, downtown Oside, North County location. And so I mean, our model is kind of focused on tasting room sales and tasting room experience. Obviously, we focus on beer too. I mean, we got GABF medals 2 years in a row in 2019 and 2018. So beer's first, but tasting room experience is really second to us. And with the shutdown, it's been pretty tough for us. So yeah, it's definitely time for us to re-examine our business model and make some changes, which I'd love to talk about too.
Yeah, I mean, let's just jump right in because I was going to say, obviously one of the things that Kilowatt is known for is really that on-premise experience. I mean, you have these, bright psychedelic tasting rooms and, like you said, that hidden tiki room in the Kearney Mesa location. So what are some of the ways that you've kind of had to pivot to this, focus on off-premise and some of the things that you are, maybe laying the groundwork for the future?
Yeah. I think there's a few pieces. I mean, we're doing pickup sales, obviously to-go sales. We've got an online ordering system through our website that you can pre-order. You can walk up to any of our 3 locations and grab to-go beer too. We're open. The hours vary, but typically 1 to 8 each day. Kearney Mesa, the hours a little less limited. We're also doing delivery. We just started delivery last week. So Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, same hours, 1 to 8, we're doing delivery. It's pretty much all of greater San Diego and North County. So those are a couple of things we're doing like everybody else. Hard seltzers are something that we've been doing for a little over a year now, and it's something that we feel we can compete with in the broader market. Yeah. It's tough for us. It's tough for us with beer because we don't have the rich uncle. We don't have a lot of money. We've taken what the capital that we have, and we've invested in our tasting rooms. And obviously, again, brewing equipment to brew good beer, but we've kept our brewing operations pretty slim. So we're rolling with a 7-barrel, so we're cranking that thing constantly. And so with that, it's harder for us to compete, with bigger breweries that have bigger systems that can crank out beer more efficiently. But in the hard seltzer space, we can. We've got our processes down, so that's something you're going to start seeing. You're going to start seeing cans, 4-pack cans from us, and multiple flavors of hard seltzer. And then our canned cocktails. They're undistilled, so we basically take. In a way, it's basically a cane sugar liquor. So it's it's pretty much a hard seltzer base that's fermented all the way up to about 20%. And we get some really good flavors. We've got kind of a rum-esque one, a dark rum, a light rum, a vodka. These all have flavors that compare to distilled spirits. And they come out, if you will, comparably to a spirit at 40 proof. And we use concentrated and high-quality mixers in our cocktails. So they'll come out to be cocktail strength. And we've been doing this for a good 9 months in the Forbidden Cove and the Tiki Bar. We've had a really good reception with it. So we've had some time to R&D it, and we're about to put that out in the marketplace too, and come up with some new. We're working on some new cocktails. In fact, right after this this conversation, we've got a whole setup in the brewery, and we're going to be doing some more R&D on our next iteration of these cocktails.
Yeah, and I mean that's exactly what I was talking to Harland about. The breweries that have had the foresight or even just the luck to diversify from just that tap room beer experience, like anybody who's got more than one revenue stream coming in is going to stand a much more solid chance of survival throughout this, because I mean it doesn't seem like this is going away anytime soon, certainly not
No.
the summer. So just to get over that, it seems like 3 months, which honestly we're coming up to 3 months, is really going to be the pain point for a lot of people.
Yes.
So having a couple different options, Harlan's got their distributing side of things, and you've got the hard seltzer side of things, which I think is, I mean, you look at the numbers, that's just a smart move in general. Like, nobody's just a beer drinker anymore. I mean, some nerds are, but hard. When there's a space in the alcohol beverage segment that's growing with triple digits, quarter after quarter after quarter, like hard seltzer is, with no signs of slowing. I just think that's, I think that's going to position you guys nicely, and I certainly hope that it works out for you, because no shame in that game as far as I'm concerned.
And I agree, and also with the canned cocktails, I mean I don't know. They're undistilled. We're doing it with our, under our brewery license legally.
Right.
And now that there's all the restaurants that are out there that have beer and wine licenses, we can offer this as a new offering for them to give to their customers too. So it's scary, and I don't want to sugarcoat anything. I'm not going to come on here and say everything's good, because quite frankly, it's not. I mean, you look at the numbers. There's no way to crystal ball this. There's no one on the planet that can crystal ball what's going to happen here every day. It's almost every hour. It's hard to run any kind of business when you don't know. There's so much uncertainty. The rules of the game change every day. The regulations change. And you also don't know. I mean, we've been, anyone who's worked with us, if they don't feel comfortable coming to work, I'm not going to make them come to work, but you also never know when someone's going to drop out, or someone's going to say, hey, now I feel good. I have enough data where I feel like I can come back. So I also want to give a big shout out to everybody in the industry who's toughing this out. And, really, without you guys, I mean, we wouldn't be able to be open. I mean, I've told our team over and over, who's left, our skeleton crew, if you guys weren't coming to work right now and you guys decide, and some of them could, quite frankly, a lot of you could make more money being on unemployment.
Yeah.
So I give you super, super props and mass kudos for staying working and keeping us going and keeping San Diego craft beer relevant and in the game. So thank you for that.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that San Diego has really coalesced as a community, and I think that we had a really good foundation to start with, just in terms of community support and things like that. People aren't always able to support breweries financially right now, just because a lot of people are out of work, a lot of people are furloughed, a lot of people are relying on unemployment, or, like earlier, no childcare or things like that. So it's just, I agree with you. I definitely commend the San Diego beer community for kind of doing what they can, when they can, as much as they can. And I think that this will definitely be a wake up call for people, especially who haven't had those like diversification, options like outside of on premise, which, I mean, historically, why would you expand from that when you're you can make $700 from a keg on premise versus $200 by selling to someone else. So I think it'll be really interesting to see what the next couple months or year holds for us. But I certainly hope to see kilowatts and those cool black lights in the Forbidden Cove at the end of this. So I certainly wish you guys the best of luck. And where can people find you on social media and keep up with everything Kilowatt?
We're at Kilowatt Beer across the board. So come check us out. We're doing the canned cocktail releases every Saturday, a new one, and we're doing some pretty unique stuff. So come check us out.
Will do. Thanks so much for checking in with us, and cheers to you. Best of luck.
Thank you, Beth. I so much appreciate it. Take care.
All right. Yeah.
Thanks.
All right, that was Kilowatt Beer at Kilowatt Beer everywhere on social media. So if you're looking to support them at any of their, I believe you said 4 different locations across the San Diego County area, please do so. And I think, I mean, hard seltzers are tight. I'm down with it. I'm gonna go get some. So anyway, let's take a peek at who is next. Ooh, White Labs. I think this is gonna be a very fun one. Okay, let's see. Let's make sure I add you right. White Labs tasting room. All right, we got Eric. Cool. What's up?
up?
Nice
How's
to
it going?
see you.
Yeah, you too.
All right, quick
Thanks for
intro.
doing
Who
this.
you are and where you're at.
Sure. I'm Eric. I'm the education manager at White Labs, and we are in our. I don't know if I can flip it. We're in our tasting room.
Ooh, yeah. Do a little. Okay, very cool. Yeah, I am very happy that you are on the education side of things because I definitely have not questions, but like the things that I want to talk about for White Labs specifically are. I really don't know. Like there's people in the home brewing community, there's people in the beer judge community who know what White Labs is. Like you guys are not just a brewery, you have like a
Yeah.
huge educational initiative that, I mean, I go to BJCP classes there, monthly, and talk to me a little bit about White Labs mission statement and how, what sets you guys apart from just like a normal brewery.
Yeah, for sure. So we're primarily a yeast manufacturing company. We
Mm-hmm.
obviously have a commercial brewery and tasting room, which is where we're at, where I'm sitting at now. But it is interesting to hear you say that because although we've been a San Diego company for 25 years now, this year's our
Yep.
25th anniversary, and we were supposed to have some pretty cool parties lined up. That
26th anniversary parties, hooray!
yeah, we're doing some specials and stuff, which we can get to, but we've been around for a long time, but it's still very common that if you're in the industry or you're a brewer, you know who we are.
Right.
And people have had our yeast, whether you're a consumer or somebody that's brewed with it. I would argue everybody's probably had a product with our yeast in it. It's just most likely haven't been brewed by us.
Right.
So yeah, we do a lot more than just the brewery and tasting room. We've got our lab, our analytical lab over here. We've got a couple labs. We are an international company. We've got a facility in Asheville, North Carolina, Copenhagen, distribution out of Hong Kong. So the whole situation's been interesting for us, more on a supplier standpoint than a brewery standpoint. But because we have a commercial brewery and a tasting room, it's really allowed us to feel a lot what our customers are going through, which I think is almost beneficial as a supplier, right? It's easy to be disconnected, but when you have that element of your business too, it's easy to be a little bit more relatable, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I mean, so you mentioned that some of the changes that have had to take place because of COVID-19 have been a little bit interesting. Could you talk a little bit about some of the things that, how you've had to shift operations either on that like analytical lab side or the tasting room side, besides, the obvious, people can't come?
Yeah. The yeast side, fortunately, we've been, doing fairly well. We haven't had to shut down. We've been able to retain pretty much all of our staff and keep production up. We slowed production for a couple weeks when we weren't really sure what was going on, but we've bounced back up to 100%. And we've really seen a big spike in home brewing. So a lot more people with a lot more time at home have been, utilizing home brewing and that time to do that. So that's been pretty cool. And it makes it a little more difficult logistically on our end because we have a lot more homebrew SKUs to inventory level, whereas the pro pitches a lot of times it's more grown to order.
Yeah, because I mean, I know that one of my favorite things that I've done in my beer career is like coming and trying the flights at White Labs where you can try the same beer but it's all different yeast strains, and I feel like that's kind of an aspect of beer that even like pretty hardcore nerds don't get to do a lot. Like the fact that you guys are in San Diego and we have the ability to do taste tests like that is, I think, speaks to kind of the level of palate that is cultivated around San Diego. So I mean, just the fact that you guys are such a resource and you're in our backyard is incredible to me. But it looks like we do have a question from Jacob Nikos. What are your thoughts on the Oscar Blues Brewers beard yeast?
Oscar Blues, I'm not familiar if they did one. There was a project with Rogue quite a number of years ago.
Rogue did it.
Yeah, and I think it's really cool. It just shows that there is yeast and wild microflora all around us. It's very hard to create consistency with that, which maybe is not a bad thing if you're someone like Burning Beard that's doing their cool ship and the rad room that they built around it. But even then, they're trying to develop some sort of consistency in the bugs that are living there by keeping that space as off of their normal production as possible. But it's a cool example. I mean, we've done projects off of sunken ships before and found yeast. We've done a lot of historic strains. One of my favorite projects that we did was with Chuck Alec and Council, where right.
It sounds like it was a little too fun then.
Yeah, they worked with Ron Pattinson. I believe he's Welsh beer historian, and he pulled out an old Imperial Stout bottle from his personal cellar that hadn't been brewed in 20 plus years, and we were able to harvest some yeast from that, and they brewed kind of clones of it, and that was pretty cool. So there's again a lot of yeast all around naturally, or that's been kind of domesticated from brewers.
So would you say of the 4 ingredients in beer, would you say the yeast is your personal favorite, or?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a San Diego guy, so I am a hophead, but I like drinking beers that use yeast that accentuate the characteristics out of hops that I like, because you're probably not going to pick a Hefeweizen strain that would produce it's very expressive and would produce a lot of esters and phenols that might cover those hops. You might pick one of a dozen California type strains or some of these hazy strains that help kind of push the hop aromatics that you like. So while I think I prefer a lot of the aromas that are hop derived, I really appreciate the yeast that can kind of help push it there and get it there.
See, I'm a nerd. I like water. I like talking about water.
You're one of the few.
No one else does, because it is so boring. I think every like quarter or whatever, when the Helix Water District like pamphlet comes out, I always save it. And I have them all lined up on my bookshelf, and I'm just like, God, I'm such a dork. But yeast, I mean, I've talked about this on a couple earlier episodes of this, where I'm like kind of not rediscovering, but like taking the opportunity to dive back into more like Belgian style beers and things like that, like more yeast and malt forward styles versus, I mean, I'm drinking a West Coast IPA, which is obviously going to be the most hop forward, but
yeah, we got our Czech Pilsner.
Oh, always a classic. Yeah, I feel like Pilsners have been the pandemic, like beer, not of choice, but like there's just a lot of Pilsners available right now, and I am in no way depressed by that.
Yeah, we always have a good supply going, so hopefully we can continue sharing those with everybody that's interested. The same Pilsner with 2 different yeasts is not quite as drastic as the same hazy IPA with 2 strains, but there is a difference.
Well, and it's the subtleties that you got to look for to sharpen your palate. If it's too easy, then you won't grow.
Yeah, that's true.
So from a consumer standpoint, how can people support White Labs, the tasting room, or any of your initiatives right now?
Yeah, we just started being open for curbside pickup consistently. We were doing a lot of one-offs. We were shipping throughout California. Now that we have a little bit more of an end in sight, we were able to open up Tuesday through Saturday, noon to 4 for curbside or call-ins. That's for Brewers yeast too, so you get a lot of people coming to pick up homebrew yeast and then pick up some beer while they're there. Every Thursday, being our 25th anniversary, we're doing kind of throwback pricing on 32-ounce fills. So we usually charge about $12 for a crowler, growler, a 32-ounce, and we're going to be looking at about $7.20. So we looked up what $12 was worth in 1995. So hopefully people can come and take advantage of that. We also have a $25 Teku pint glass, as well as some Franken Stout, Big Imperial Stout bottle combo for this week, and that's American Craft Beer Week. Is that right? The Brewers
that's right
Association
now.
Week? Yep.
Yep. So tomorrow, I can get some Franken Stout?
Yep.
Okay, deal. I'll pencil you in, because that's always a fun one. All right, well, we're gonna hop off, but thank you so much for checking in with us, and cheers to you.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
All right, have a good one.
Cheers.
All right, that was the White Labs tasting room. One of my favorite places. They're great and a humongous educational resource for anybody who's looking to learn a little bit more about craft beer or home brewing or beer judging or anything like that. So check them out, White Labs. They're excellent. But we're coming on to our final guest. I believe it is third up. Ooh, no, you don't want to look at that. Why did I turn my? Hold on. What did I do? What did I do? I gotta figure out how to turn it around. Sorry, guys. Oh my gosh. Oh, here. Sorry. Technical difficulties. It's only my like 8th week doing this, but all right. Third Avenue Ale House sent a request to be in your live video. Let's go live with you in Chula Vista. Maybe. Hello.
Hello.
How's it going? Thanks for bearing with me. I don't know how I turned my camera around. I feel
Very fancy views there.
yes, that's, I'm an old pro at this. So anyway, let's do a quick intro, who you are and where you're at.
My name's Kendall, and I'm one of the owners of Third Avenue Ale House down in Chula Vista on Third Avenue.
Very cool. So it looks like you're inside. Can we get a quick little tour of the space?
Sure. Let me see if I can flip it around without showing all the goods. Here we go.
Yeah.
Here's our space. We have our little makeshift market right now.
Very cool.
Oh,
there you go. That's a little Pliny in there.
There's some good stuff. Here's our sad little tasting room that's not open right now, and our bar. But wine. But
very cool.
This is us, and down the hall there is a nice little patio.
Well, I'm hoping it'll be filled soon. So,
yep,
so you guys are on Third Avenue. So, I mean, that's really the heart of Chula Vista and the whole kind of South Bay uprising thing. How has the community kind of, supported you, and how have things been going for you over the last 2 months, really?
Yeah, that's crazy. It's been that long. It's been good. We were shut down for 6 weeks. We opted to kind of stay closed and took a more conservative route just to see what was going on. But we've been opening now the past 3 weeks, and it's been awesome. It's so fun to see our customers, our regulars, just the kind of neighborhood coming out and supporting everybody. It's been really neat. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So just as far as the beer community, I mean, it looks like you guys have a little to-go marketplace. Does that mean people can come in and get some bottles to go and stuff like that?
Yeah, so we're selling bottles and cans to go. Yeah.
Okay.
Bringing in new stuff every week.
Okay. So I think I saw something that you guys were doing some like partnerships with local breweries. Did I make that up or?
Recently?
I don't. Somebody was saying like, oh, you guys, or maybe it was just like historically you guys have been such a big supporter of the San Diego beer scene. So, I mean, talk a little bit about like kind of the history and mission of what you guys are doing.
Okay. So when we first opened, we were San Diego only. We're the first tasting room in Chula Vista. So there is just an underserved area, and we thought, it's so hard to physically get to all the places in San Diego from Chula Vista to Vista, Miramar, like all those areas where you were seeing the breweries pop up. It was physically hard and logistically kind of a nightmare. So the idea was to capture everything that was going on and bring it to the heart of Chula Vista. And since then, we've kind of expanded our menu, but the heart and soul of our business is San Diego beer.
So, I mean, if you guys were one of the first tasting rooms, obviously there's been like kind of a huge explosion in that area of beer related businesses, tap rooms and bars and things like that. How have you seen the community kind of develop more of a taste for beer down there over the years?
Oh, totally. It's been really neat to see. It was kind of one of our dreams was to see the area come alive, especially Third Avenue. It just begged for people and businesses and to be this thriving area. So it's been awesome to see our buddies Three Punks open and, all the other breweries and bars that have come alongside and opened businesses here. It's exciting and encouraging for the neighborhood and community.
Absolutely. So what are some of the things that you've been drinking during shelter in place?
Lots of seltzers.
Hey, there you go.
I know. I heard that earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Currently, I'm drinking a La Flama Blanca from Three Punks.
Excellent.
Dropped down and picked up a crowler. Just all the goodness, the Society's new IPA.
Mm-hmm.
Had that a couple times this week.
So where's a place that you're just like dying to go to when they reopen? Or, like we can hang out there.
Yeah, probably, I would say Original 40.
Ooh, there you go. Have a little brunch, have a little, beer
Yeah,
mug.
yeah. Little crispy boy.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's not a bad one. That's not a bad one at all. I'm like, gosh, where do I want to go?
I know.
Now I need to think about it. I asked the question. I don't even feel like I have an answer.
There's a long list, but that's what I want right now, other than the Flama Blanca that I just walked to get. I'm sweating.
Yeah, definitely. I'm like, I've got a list of things that I want to do. I'm like, I really want to go bowling. But when I go bowling, I'm like drinking the cheapest light beer ever. So never mind.
Right.
I'll come back with a better answer. But so where can people find information on, like what are your hours and things like that for people to shop?
Yeah, they're slowly changing as we're kind of opening up more and more. Mm-hmm. So Instagram, social media is the best outlet. Our website's right behind that. We've got all of our to-go beers on our website, so you can actually buy it online, pre-purchase it, and then just pick it up. It's a pretty seamless process. But Third Avenue Ale House is our Instagram, Third Ave Ale House is our Facebook, and Third Ave Ale is Twitter.
As somebody who has a couple different handles based on space limitations, I totally feel that. Well,
right.
Well, we really appreciate you supporting, everything San Diego craft beer and all of the like independent breweries, both in your neighborhood and around San Diego at large. So I certainly hope to see that patio with people in it sooner rather than later.
Thank you.
Yeah, best of luck to you during all of this, and hopefully you're able to open more and more every single day.
That's the hope. Thank you.
All right, fingers crossed. Well, have a great rest of your week.
You too. Bye.
Thanks for stopping by. Bye. All right, we're gonna wrap things up for the week. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. As always, like I said, we do this every single week, Wednesdays, starting at 3 p.m. California time. Next week, we're gonna have a whole new crop of different San Diego breweries and beer-related businesses to check in with. So every week, it's somebody new, and next week, it's I'm sure some other weird, crazy new state legislation thing is going to get handed down, and something will be different then. So we'll certainly talk about that with all of our guests. But in the meantime, if you have a question or want to share any information with the Brewers Guild, please do email info@sdbeer.com. If you were looking for resources either as an employee or brewery owner or anything like that, please go to sdbeer.com and check out the list of resources that the Brewers Guild has aggregated for the community. And if you'd like to be a guest on this show, please also send us a message here on Instagram or something like that. You can find me on The Delighted Bite on Instagram, and on Twitter, I'm just Delighted Bite. But again, I am Beth Demon. Thank you so much for tuning in to the San Diego Brewers Guild Happy Hour at Home on Wednesdays. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay thirsty, and we will catch you all next week. Thanks so much.